So hi, very good morning. So I hope it is audible to you guys. Good morning once again. So last class, yeah, you must be thinking that today class is starting little early. I may leave you little early, so I didn't wanted to waste the initial few minutes. So listen that yesterday, what all things we were talking about. It was the beginning of the Indus Valley civilization and architecture and cultural features of that time. So what we have discussed till this date, uh, seals that we have discussed, and moreover pottery of the Indus Valley civilization. So now today we will be seeing the other architectural pieces or artifacts of the Indus Valley, and then we are going to start with the Maurya age. So let's begin with the third one, and third would be sculpture of the Indus Valley civilization. So you have written about the seals and then also pottery. Now let's look at the sculpture. So as I said that there are three category of the sculptures or figurines, and one is made up of the stone, another is made up of the terracotta, and then the most advanced one was the bronze. So let's look at the very first one, which is the first in the sculpture, stone sculpture. And it may happen that somebody like yesterday's class will ask that what is architecture, so what is sculpture. चलो इसके पहले कि मैं खुद शर्मिंदा हूं कि नहीं पता है तो मैं खुद ही बता देता हूं. So sculpture is a piece of imagination. It's an you can say that architecture and sculpture when you started, so the half part is dedicated to sculpture. So architecture is a piece of art, and then you know that there are many techniques which are involved in the architecture, engineering tools, measurement, and it's a 3D piece of art. Then both are 3D piece of art. But here, sculpture, when you define the sculpture, it's a 3D piece of art which is based on imagination, and it doesn't stick to the perfect measurement technique, but it's only the imagination according to which a particular figurine is created. So that figurine you often call idols. Then, so idols, and a better language for that is the sculpture. So stone sculpture, it was made up from the stone statite. So it was made from the stone which we have discussed very often, and that stone was the, just 1 minute, statite. Then, so that stone was the statite. So statite was used for making the stone sculpture, and you don't need to write the definition of the sculpture over here. It is understood that you know. So statite was used for making it, and what you call statite, soft river stone. So this is soft river stone. Then statite is a soft river stone, and moreover, when you go into the chemical composition of the statite, ये भी जरूरी नहीं है, but I'm writing magnesium sulfide. So it is MgS, magnesium sulfide. So that's what is the composition of the statite. Now, example in this you need to know that what was the example of the stone sculpture in the Indus Valley civilization. So the most beautiful and most celebrated example was bearded priest. I'll show you the image, but meanwhile you write. Bearded priest was the most celebrated example of this stone sculpture. Then after this stone sculpture, let's look at the second one, which is terracotta figurines. So terracotta figurines. Now in terracotta figurine there is something to discuss, and I hope when you're reading the ancient and medieval, so at that point of time you must have discussed about the religion at this point of time in Indus Valley civilization, what all form of religion, who all were worshipped at this point of time. So first of all, what is terracotta? It's a kind of that idol or kind of a figurine which is made from the clay, and that clay figurine has been baked on fire. So basically, in simple words, what you can write that it is clay baked on fire. Clay figurine, better to write clay figurine baked on fire. Then, so it is a clay figurine baked on fire. Then, now there are many examples of this clay figurine which is baked on fire or terracotta. There are so many examples. The most important then, so the most important is the image of the mother goddess. So example, you write mother goddess. And I hope this is the one which I was referring to. You must have heard at many places. Not many places, particularly when you are reading the ancient Indus Valley civilization. So now, this mother goddess holds a very important position in the Indus Valley civilization, and moreover, this is the most abundant image found in the Indus Valley civilization. So it is the most abundant image found in the Indus Valley civilization. In most of the towns of the Indus Valley civilization, you will find a mother goddess. Moreover, this mother goddess, it further gives us insight about some of the practices of the Indus Valley civilization, that not only male but female deities were also worshipped. So male deity Pasupati Shiva and female deity mother goddess. Then second thing, that this mother goddess, many a times he is referred as goddess of fertility, and this reference that she is goddess of fertility, it is based on the basis of one imagery. And what is this imagery? That in one of the image of this mother goddess, generally she is depicted as a kind of a pregnant woman, and in one of the image of this lady, you will see that from her navel point one plant is emerging. So from her navel point one plant is emerging and circling the body of the lady. So encircling the body of the lady, and on the basis of this image, the historians, they call that she is perhaps the goddess of fertility. Moreover, the pregnancy itself shows that if a goddess is worshipped in the pregnant stage, so she is the goddess of the fertility. And in all the images, you will see that there will be a little bit of bump on the stomach area of that lady. So you write that it is the most abundant image. It is the most abundant image found from Indus towns. Most abundant image found from Indus towns. Full stop. Then you write mother goddess is referred as goddess of fertility. Goddess of fertility. Mother goddess is referred as goddess of fertility. Then after this, another example of this one, that this terracotta figurine. So mother goddess is the most important example, but they also created many other type of the things in the terracotta, like clay figurines. Then the clay cards, toys, and these were also made. So you can mention other examples, clay card, toys, etc. Clay cards, toys, etc. Then, so after this, the third category of the sculpture, and this one is a bit advanced, so bronze sculpture. संतोष एक बार कैमरा चेक कर लेना. Devans, you can clear that what is there, what you want. Camera is in right position. So please, when entire board, digital board is visible, so then accordingly suggest, because I will become conscious if you are suggesting something. So bronze sculpture. Then so bronze sculpture, I hope you know that what is bronze. That bronze is it's not a specific metal found in the nature, but it is made by the humans then, and it is made by the humans with the mixture of copper and tin. So copper, Cu, and tin is the this particular Sn. These are the symbols of this particular metal. So when these two metals, copper and tin, is mixed, so you get the bronze. Now, how this bronze sculptures were casted, that is important. It's not important that bronze was made. Most important is the method of making it. Then, so method of making the bronze sculpture. So you can mention lost wax technique was used. Lost wax technique was used to cast bronze sculpture. To cast bronze sculpture. So now I will elaborate that how it is casted. So lost wax technique, you also write simultaneously. Now, since there is this word, please look at this word, that wax and lost. So lost wax technique, what is there in this technique? What they do in the beginning. So the very first step in this lost wax technique, they are going to create an image from the wax. Suppose that, just give me a minute. Suppose that there is this image, and one triangular image is to be created. So this is created from the wax. Then, so now this is a wax structure. They have created an image of the wax, then image from the wax, or one such a sculpture from the wax. Then, so this is wax. Now in the second step, what they will do, that they will cover this wax with the clay. I will write everything, but let me complete. So this is a figure, and this is sculpture, triangular sculpture they wanted to make. So what they have done, first they have created the triangular structure with the wax, and after that this wax is coated with the clay. So this wax is coated with the clay. So this is clay, and this you can say this is wax. So clay and wax. Now after some point of time, that या मैं ही पढ़ा लूं या तुम लोग पढ़ लो. So after some point of time, what is there, that it will be that baked on fire. Then, so this would be baked on fire. Now once it is baked on fire, so after baking it, what would be the condition? This clay which is there, this clay, it will get hardened. It will get hardened, and the wax will melt. So wax will melt. Now in a separate pot, they are melting copper and tin. Now in a molten state, copper and tin is there. Now what they will do, wax is also molten, and then here also copper and tin is molten. They will create one such hole in this particular structure, drain wax, and then transfer copper and tin into this structure. So transfer molten copper and tin into this structure. Now it is filled with the molten copper and tin. Block the hole, leave it for few days for cooling purpose, and finally there is a set bronze structure inside this one. Remove the clay, finally hardened clay, and then you have the sculpture. So remove the hardened clay, and then you have the structure before you, which you can polish. So this was the technique which was used at this point of time for the creation of the bronze sculpture. Please write quickly the method. I know that many of you have understood and you could have written, but after some point of time somebody will request that लिखवा दो, उससे अच्छा है कि लिख लो. So please write that in the very first step, the very first step. A wax figurine was created. A wax figurine was created, which was coated with clay, and then baked on fire, which is coated with clay and then baked on fire. Full stop. Molten bronze was filled into the structure after replacing the molten wax. Molten bronze was filled into the structure after replacing molten wax. Then after you write molten wax, full stop. It was left for the cooling. And finally hardened clay was removed and the structure or sculpture was polished from outside. Then, so you write example. In example you mention dancing girl of Mohenjo-daro. Dancing girl of Mohenjo-daro. Dancing girl of Mohenjo-daro. Santosh, air server on nahi hai. Dancing girl of Mohenjo-daro. So these are the examples of the sculptures. Now I'm moving to the next topic, which is the cosmetics and jewelries of this time. So we'll see the images once the air server is connected. Okay. So next topic you write, fourth, ornaments and cosmetics. Though cosmetics doesn't comes into the category of the ornament or kind of artifact, but yes, we'll have to see this because I saw that it was not mentioned in your class notes. Let me show you the images. Wait for 1 minute. So bearded priest we needed to see. This is the image of the bearded priest. As you can see that it's made up from the stone, and there is a band which he is wearing at this place. This band is the one on the basis of which historians say that it is the status of the priest, that band which he is wearing. Then the same kind of band is there on the hands also. So that's why he was concluded to be the priest of the Indus Valley civilization. Moreover, you see that he has Virat Kohli style of beard, and then uh, then a trefoil pattern shawl he is wearing. So what is trefoil? This trefoil means that three leaflets. So trefoil pattern of shawl he is wearing. Then so this is the image of the bearded priest, mother goddess. Then so mother goddess, as you can see that this is the image of the mother goddess, and often this lady is depicted with that little bit of bump. She is considered as the goddess of fertility. But this is not just one style of the image which you have found which you will see in the Indus Valley. There are different type of the images of the mother goddess. You are seeing just one type, but different types of the images of the mother goddess. But one similarity, that most of the time she will be represented as the pregnant lady. Then so this you saw yesterday, and now ornaments and jewelry we are going to start. So you can see that these are the ornaments and jewelry which they were using. Then so I would not write anything on the board. You can see over here only that what else is written here. So jewelry in Indus Valley civilization, what things you are seeing here? So you are seeing that there are necklace. This is the necklace. Then you can see that rings are there, finger rings are there, earrings are there. Then waistband, kamarband. Then so kamarband is there, and different type of the necklaces are there. These necklaces, they are made from the beads also. Chalo kuch likh lenge, but first you see these all images. So these images are made from the beads also. For example, this is a necklace which is made from the bead. Here you can see that it is also made from the bead. Bead ka matlab moti. So kind of a moti, and in fact there was a bead industry in the Indus Valley civilization at a place called Chanudaro. So Chanudaro was the place where bead industry was there, and there was one place where the bangles were created in the Indus Valley civilization, and that place was the Kalibangan. Then so in Kalibangan bangles were created, and in Chanudaro bead industry was there. Then so cosmetics were very important at this place, and then see that fine beads, especially from stones such as carnelian, then and carnelian and orange to red quartz. Then so that's the nature of the carnelian, and often the beads were etched using lime and heat. Then so lime matlab chuna. Then chuna and heat से दोनों को itch करते थे. Then Indus Valley gold chiefly in jewelry is very rare, but it means that there was. Some places you will find little bit of gold, but बहुत rare था, किसी के पास था. Then and the beads were hollow, and in the pendant the gold lies over an organic core. So you can read it over here. I don't need to read this thing. It will be available to you. So this is what is and how the jewelry of the Indus Valley civilization look like. So you can mention few things over here, that mention the types of the jewelry. So types of the jewelry, so you write they used necklace, pendant, waistband. You can mention Indus Valley people used necklace, pendant, waistband, finger rings, etc. Rings, etc. Then further you mention most of the ornaments were made from carnelian stone. Carnelian stone. Then you write there are instances of gold jewelry also. There are instances of gold jewelry also. Then you write these two places. I don't know you have written in your ancient, but you can write it over here that Indus Valley site of Chanudaro, IVC site of Chanudaro was known for bead industry, and IVC site of Indus Valley site of Kalibangan was known for bangle industry. Bangle industry. Bangle industry. So there is a one image which you can say that this is the carnelian necklace. You can see that orange to light orange kind of quartz. So this is what you say is carnelian then, and this is one type of the necklace which is found in the Indus Valley civilization. So there are two images which I have shown to you. So now after this one, that this jewelry, since I have written cosmetics have no role in architecture and sculpture, but let's add this portion that what all kind of cosmetics they were using in the Indus Valley civilization. So when it comes to the cosmetics, so the cosmetics used by the Indus Valley people include, you can write the cosmetics of IVC that people used, Indus Valley people used soap, lipstick, kajal, and the one with which I started yesterday's class, sindoor, vermilion, sindoor. So these all kind of cosmetics were known to the Indus Valley people. They were using it. So they were aware of the soap. They were using the soap. Lipstick also. It's not a new thing which only people of the modern age has started. In fact, there are many such stories related to the queen of the Mayan civilization. The Red Queen, she was the one who discovered the lipstick. But it was also there in the Indus Valley civilization. So lipstick was used. Then kajal, so kajal is also an old innovation, and then sindoor, right from the inception of the Indus Valley civilization. This is one thing which has stayed in Indian culture and still continuing very strong. Then, and reasons you have found out that why it is continuing very strong. Then, so it's not just a symbol, but it is more than that. So these all kind of cosmetics were used by them. I will also mention, apart from the cosmetic, that they were also using some healing solutions. Then, so healing solutions, and what were the healing solutions? Basically, when you get some cut on your body, when you get some wound on your body, so you clean it with the Dettol, Sevillon. So this we call tincture. So they used some sort of tincture for healing the wounds. Then, so you can mention for healing wounds, they used tincture. They used tincture made from mercury, Hg. If you want to know the formula of this particular tincture or mercury tincture which was used by them, so this is Hg2Cl2. Hg2Cl2. This is the chemical formula of this tincture which they used. So 2 units of the mercury and 2 units of the chlorine. Hg2Cl2. Even if you want something extra, so I can write over here. But ऐसे क्या हो जाएगा कि थोड़ा excessive information हो जाता है. This particular thing in chemical language is called as calomel. So this is the aspect associated with the cosmetics, ornaments, cosmetics and jewelries. Then, so now the last topic of the Indus Valley civilization. If we don't have the remains, how can we can how come we can say that these things were used by them? It is implicit, Taruna. कभी कभी लगता है तुम लोग कितना बच्चों वाला क्वेश्चन पूछते हो. इट्स गुड. बच्चों वाले सवाल पूछने चाहिए. बट इट डिपेंड्स अपॉन माई मूड ऑल्सो. कब मैं बच्चों वाले सवाल पे गुस्सा हो जाऊं, कब मैं नॉर्मल रहूं. सो देन नाउ कम टू द नेक्स्ट पार्ट, टाउन प्लानिंग और अर्बन प्लानिंग. सो टाउन प्लानिंग और कुछ भी इसको कहो, टाउन प्लानिंग कहो या अर्बन प्लानिंग कहो, एवरीथिंग इज परफेक्ट. ठीक है. So let's look at the town planning of the Indus Valley civilization, and I will be creating few diagrams, so please give me a little bit of time. So I hope you have written the heading. This is the last heading of the IVC. So town planning, just 1 minute. अरे यार, क्या? Please, you also create this diagram at the same point of time. Please do it simultaneously. So this is one type of image. Then so please create this much structure, and there are more images to be created in this one, but and I am creating this diagram exactly according to what is there in the details in the books and what has been asked in the UPSC question paper. So I will tell you the question also, that what was the exact question which was asked in one particular year. One more undo. And one final structure, and then I'll start explaining. Just give me 1 more minute so that I'm done with all the structures. And please, now onwards, you start labeling this diagram, that what all things, that what is this which I have created. So this you can write as granary. This you can write common bath. This you can mention these two buildings, administrative buildings. administrative buildings. This you can mention upraised platform. Upraised platform. Then this overall area is citadel. This overall area is citadel. Then this overall area is the lower town. Lower town. These all four are sectors. This is road. These are covered drains. These are houses. So covered drain, these are houses. And as you can see that there are single story, double story, and even instances of the triple story houses. And covered drains are there and road is there. So this much you create, I will start explaining these all things. And I must not happen to block the board. So you can see, and let me see also that if I have missed any of the detail. So yes, one more thing I will like to do in this structure, and that would be all these houses would be connected to the main drain. So and please mention when you are done with the diagram, please respond in the response screen. So I hope most of you are done. So now listen. Generally, the Indus Valley towns were divided into two parts. The part which is created on upraised platform, it is known as citadel. Now, what all kind of structures you will see in the citadel? It's a kind. You can say that it's a one part which is which means for the people who are rich in class or administration. So as you can see that the blocks which were created in this side of the town, it seems to be administrative buildings. Big buildings were there, and they seem to be administrative buildings. Moreover, generally, there could be exceptions, but generally that in the citadel area only, there were two more structures, the provision of the common bath and the granary. So provision of the common bath, that as the name suggests, that it is meant for the common bath, for ritual bathing. Moreover, this is the image which I have created, which is there in the Mohenjo-daro, and name of this common bath is the Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro. So Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro. So in this Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro, you can notice that there are stairs from two sides, north, just 1 minute. So there are stairs from north and south. Then, so from two sides in this Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro, stairs are created, and on the east and west side rooms are there. Then, so rooms are there in east and west side. Moreover, the question which was asked in UPSC, that which of the following statement is true regarding the Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro. So the statements which were given, that stairs were created from all directions. Then second statement, stairs were created in north and south. Stairs were created in east and west. And the another statement was that the stairs were created from the stone, and one more statement, stairs were created from the brick. So the right answer would be stairs created from north and south, and stairs were created from the bricks only. Then, so they were created from the bricks only, there was no usage of the stone. So this is one structure which is for the ritual bathing. Then there is a granary, and granary is what? It is for the storage purpose. Storage of grains, storage of paddy, storage of wheat, whatever. So storage of grains is that it was granary. Then when you look at the other side of the town, which is the lower town, it is much bigger than the upraised platform town, that is Citadel, and this area is meant for the habitation of the commoners. Then, so this area is meant for the habitation of the commoners. Moreover, one can identify different sectors into this one. So many sectors would be there. Apart from that, there is a provision of the good network of the road, and you can see that roads are cutting each other at right angle, 90 degree per. Then, so you can see that roads are cutting each other at 90 degree right angle. Then moreover, on both the sides of the road, very good drains were created, and these all drains were covered. They were either covered with the stone slab or brick slab. So covered drains were created in the Indus towns. Moreover, there is a one more thing which I will be discussing regarding this drains. So इसी में at this place only I will be creating one more structure अभी थोड़ी देर में, but first you listen. So inside the sectors you can पढ़ लो, या तो फिर मैं ऐसे ही सब कुछ बना दूं. Where is market? See, you guys have an habit of interruption, okay? And that's what breaks the flow. That market nahi tha, aise hi tha, okay? There is no market here. See, I don't like this kind of thing, that interrupting all the while, and it's not like that. In offline classes also it used to happen, but there was a terror in the offline classes that people were sensible when they look at the other people. Otherwise I would be mocked, that you would be mocked. Then, so here there is no fear. Here is you all you can show that is the nuisance. Then rather than listening to the details, you guys are just busy on what I'm going to type. Then have patience and have a little bit of maturity. Don't make me repeat those things which I did in one of the class number 20th or 21st. So mature yourself, and then develop a depth in your personality. It's an important detail that you're listening to, and very often you guys chalo. So houses were, so in each of the sectors, houses were created, and in these houses that you can see that single story house, double story house, and triple story house. Moreover, what is there about the houses? These houses were not created facing the main road. This you can call as the main road. So these houses were not created facing the main road. In fact, that houses, the main gate of the houses were in the other direction other than main road. So there is no clear knowledge about this one, since we have not been able to decipher the Indus Valley script. So it is said that they were not creating the gateways of their houses in the facing the main road, because they wanted to safeguard their privacy. Then, and you can ask the question that why to safeguard their privacy. So first of all, there was no door on the gateways. Then, so it was open. Just like in today's time that you must have heard about, there is one town in the state of Maharashtra, and name of the town is Sunny Singnapur. So where people don't keep locks, that they don't keep locks on their houses. Then, so they don't keep locks on their houses, and that's what is the popular in new time. But at that point of time, there was no doors on the gateways. Then, so no doors on the gateways. So that's why they were keeping the main gate of their houses in the other direction. Then when it comes to the what these houses were made up of, so all the houses were made of burnt brick of same shape and size. So all the houses were made of burnt brick of same shape and size, and then these bricks were in the ratio of 4:2:1. Then, so 4 would be, you can say that 4 would be the length of the brick, and 2 would be the width of the brick, and 1 would be the height of the brick. So that's how. So houses, all the houses were made up of the burnt brick and then what else? All the houses were connected with the main drain. So in each of the house, you will see that there is a provision of the, so there is a provision in each of the house, there is a provision of the bedroom, there is a provision of the kitchen, separate kitchen, there is a washroom. And in some of the houses, particularly those people who were well off, so in their houses, there was a separate well also. घर के अंदर ही एक कुआं होता था. So there was a separate well also. So these all kind of facilities were there in the houses. And let me share one funny instance which happened in one of the class. And as the way it happens in your class also, that many a times that people, chalo koi nahi. So one of the funny instance which happened at this point of time, what was that? In one class, offline class it was, and then somebody asked that, said, did they had stairs in their houses? I said, no. How come you feel about that? That there are stairs in their houses? No, sir, I was thinking that how they would be going to the second floor and third floor. And then I said that, no, there were no stairs in the houses. What they were doing, that two people were catching one person and they were throwing the person to the second floor if he wanted to go to, and then if he wanted to go to the third floor, so then throwing it to the third floor. This was the process. So there are few things which are implicit then, and that much is expected that you must not ask then. So, okay. So further, so you can see this one. Now, what I said that this drain structure, I need to explain further. इसमें थोड़ा बहुत और मेरे को आपको बताना है. So now, please write. कुछ लिखो. Generally, in this town, we're divided into, in these towns, we're divided into two parts. That is upper town and lower town. That is upper town and lower town. Then further, upper town and lower town. उसके बाद लिखो, the upper town was created on upraised platform. Upper town was created on upraised platform known as citadel. Known as citadel. Known as citadel. Then further you mention generally this area was fortified. Generally this area was fortified. This area was fortified. ठीक है, फिर लिखो, this section of the town was meant for administrative buildings, or was meant for administration. Full stop, then you write. The important structures in this area or in this part. The important structure in this part of town included granary, meant for storage of grains, and a common bath. and a common bath meant for ritual bathing. So common bath meant for ritual bathing. Then you write example of the common bath also. The most important example is Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro. Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro. कौन सा लाइन? Which line, Devyans, you are referring to? लाइन तो भेजो तब तो माफी मिलेगी. रोहित, market was ठेले पर. So further you write Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro. Then in this brackets you mention stairs were created in north and south direction. Yes, Tushar, you will have to create these diagrams. It's art and culture. बिना diagram के art and culture में number अच्छा नहीं मिलता है. You guys will have to create the diagrams. And moreover, when you are creating the diagram, so you make the job of the examiner easy so that he can understand that you have the knowledge. And he can read your answers very quickly. Once you have created the diagrams, the examiner will get idea, चलो इसको आता है, ये सब चीजें लिख रखी है, तो अंदर भी यही लिखा होगा. So when you are saving the time of the examiner, he would be happy. Because see, this world, nobody is born as a saint, and then saint is a process. So everybody has a kind of that this is an organic relation in the universe. We all operate in an organic relation. And in this organic relation, an examiner is evaluating your copy because he gets something. Then he gets something in the form of money also and in the form of the stature also. At the same point of time, when you make his job complicated by writing in the complex language and by making his job difficult by one answer which he can read in 4 minutes and you are making him to read in 10 minutes, obviously he will be frustrated, he would be angered, and then the outcome would be the marks that you are going to get. Then, so when you are making the job of examiner easy, he will reward you. And that's what is the reality. That's what I say, organic relationship, that you do, I do. And you do something else, I will do something else. Then, so this is what is. Then, so I hope you are understanding. So further you write that in the brackets what you have written that stairs were created in north and south direction, and they were made from burnt brick only. They were made from burnt brick only. Made from burnt brick only. They were made from burnt brick only. Okay? So this is the information about the Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro. Then now, so this area, most of the structures we have completed. Now let's move to this part. So before writing anything in this one, I said to you that I would be telling you something different or something more related to this particular that these drains which are there in this part. So let me create this diagram. चाहो तो इसके अंदर से बाहर भी बना सकते हो, but I am creating over here so that the entire diagram would be visible to you. So give me time once again, then, and not more than 2 minutes I will take. So now, see this diagram. This is the internal diagram of these drains. Then, so internal diagram of these drains, as you look into the drains, what you will find. Suppose that there is no water in the drain, so then you can see this kind of structure. So you can see that at regular intervals, there is an in-depth area. And there is an in-depth area which we call main hole. So this part is called as the main hole. Then, and this colored thing which I have created, this is what we call that gypsum plaster. Gypsum plaster. Now listen, why these all things are created? If you happen to observe the thing in the modern world, the things in the modern cities and modern urban areas, what you will see that in the roads you have a round color that lids which are kept on the road. And then when you remove the lids, so then there is a main hole. Inside the drains in the urban areas of today's world also, we have the provision of the main holes. And many a times when you're reading these all newspapers, and in UPSC preparation you are more regular in newspaper reading, so after every third or fourth day you listen that you just read a news that somebody died while clearing the sink, then somebody died was clearing the main hole, and some sanitation worker has died, or some area due to the suffocation many people are trapped inside the main hole. So this is what I am referring to. So in this Indus Valley civilization, this is the innovation of the Indus Valley civilization, that they created main holes in the drains. What is the purpose of this main hole? So the purpose of creating this main hole is basically that the purpose of creating main hole, see that water and all the discharges from the houses are going to this drain. Now what will happen, that there is a gypsum coating, and I hope you know the chemical structure of the gypsum coating, that it is a calcium sulfate. When you remove one such calcium sulfate plus one molecule of the water, and if you remove the there are two molecules of the water, when you remove one molecule, so it becomes plaster of Paris, and then otherwise anhydrous plaster of Paris is the gypsum. So gypsum, calcium sulfate samjho, bas itna, CaSO4. That's what is the chemical formula. And I hope you all know that what is gypsum. So they coat the internal structure of the main hole with the gypsum. And what is the purpose of this gypsum? So once the water is flowing in this area, now all the discharges, there are many kind of household discharges, that solid waste which are there, they will get collected over here. But this gypsum, it will start filtering the water. So this gypsum, it will start filtering the water, and slowly water will go into the ground. Then, so water will get discharged into the ground. So a clean water is going down the ground, and all the waste material is left over here. After some point of time, this waste material is removed from the main hole, and then again it is ready for cleaning the water. In the old times, you must have seen, old times ka matlab aaj se 10-15 saal pehle. And if you would have observed in your houses how the water was filtered, there used to be steel boxes, that two steel boxes, one on the lower, one on the other, and on the other one there was a candle. That candle was mainly a stone candle, gypsum candle. And when you pour water into the upper one, so slowly after some point of time, it took a little bit of time, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, and then the slowly water is dripping into the lower chamber. So this candle, which was made from the gypsum and other stone material, was made for the filtration purpose. Can you see that? It's an old innovation, and it was done at the time of the Indus Valley civilization itself. So this is what happened at the Indus Valley civilization, and you can see the know-how of the people, the intelligence of the people, that how they were operating at this point of time. You got that? So please write few words about this. Not just this, but entire area, and this entire area. So please mention. So the lower town was meant for habitation of commoners. The lower town was meant for habitation of commoners. It was divided into, I just want to know that did you study these all in the ancient? लिखा हो, पढ़ा हो तो बता देना मेरे को. Otherwise, I would feel that it is becoming repetitive. ठीक है? So please do mention in the responses screen that you have studied this, whatever I am telling you right now, this you have studied in the ancient or not. So please mention. It was meant for habitation of the commoners. Then you write, it was divided into many sectors. It was divided into many sectors. Full stop. There was a good network of road. Chalo, it's good that you guys have. Chalo, usme nahi hua hai. So now you will feel that combining both the notes, it will be more holistic. अब इसके बाद पूछोगे कि कौन सी किताब पढ़नी है तो I will say मेरा दिमाग खोल के पढ़ लेना. चलो, you guys right. So there was good network of roads. There was good network of roads. And roads used to cut each other. And roads used to cut each other at right angle. Roads used to cut each other at right angle. Done? Full stop. On both the sides of road, drains were created. On both the sides of road, drains were created and covered with stone slab or brick slab. Covered with stone slab or brick slab. Stone slab or brick slab. So there was a network issue. So I hope now it has been solved and you guys can confirm there still an issue. Abhi bhi aisa. Please check that we have confirmed from our own side that there must not be an issue. Please check. Please confirm in the response screen that still there is an issue or not. Hi Tanya, its prompter is not working, so I'm not able to see that what you're responding. And you can send me message if it is working. Chalo, now fine now. So now fine, chalo. So what was the last line? Let me see that what you guys have written. There was a good network of road. That was the last line. Thank you Rahul for this. So there was a good network of road and further you write, and road used to cut each other. There was good network of road and roads used to cut each other at right angle. Roads used to cut each other at right angle. Yes, roads used to cut each other at right angle, full stop. Then you mention on both the sides of the road, on both the sides of the road, on both the sides of the road, drains were created. On both the sides of road, drains were created. On both the sides of the road, drains were created, full stop. Drains were created. And there was provision of main hole. You can see here, there was provision of main hole in the drains. There was provision of main hole in the drains. Provision of main hole in the drains, which was coated with gypsum. Which was coated with gypsum. Which was coated with gypsum. Then further you mention what is the function of this gypsum. So you write, it was meant for, which was coated with gypsum, full stop. It was meant for filtering the water. It was meant for filtering the water and discharging it to the ground. It was meant for filtering the water and discharging it to the ground. Discharging it to the ground. Filtering the water and discharging it to the ground. Then after this you mention so drains and then roads covered. Then you write each and every house was connected with the main drain. Each and every house was connected with the main drain. Main drain. Then after you mention there were instances of double story, single story, double story and even triple story houses. Single story, double story and triple story houses. Triple story houses. Single, double and triple. Then after that you mention generally the main gate of houses were not created. Generally the main gate of the houses were not created facing main road. Generally the main gate of the houses were not creating facing main road. Facing main road. Full stop. Perhaps it was meant for safeguarding their privacy. Perhaps it was meant for safeguarding their privacy. Safeguarding their privacy. It was meant for safeguarding their privacy. Full stop. उसके बाद mention करो safeguarding their privacy. After this the houses were created with burnt brick of same shape and size. Burnt brick of same shape and size. In the ratio of 4:2:1. 4 could be length, breadth would be the 2 and height would be the 1. So in the ratio of 4:2:1. 4:2:1. Then further you mention inside the houses there used to be bedrooms. There used to be bedrooms, separate kitchen and washroom. Separate kitchen and washroom. Separate kitchen and washroom. Full stop. In some of the houses, they were having separate wells. They were having private wells, you can write. They were having private wells for fetching water. private wells for fetching water. So public well bhi hota tha, but private wells were also there. So this is what we needed to convey in this particular topic of the Indus Valley Civilization, town planning. And I hope that I have covered most of the most of the details regarding this. Many times I look at the structure that could chhoot na gaya ho, but I have covered most of the, and in fact that what I wanted to complete in this class. So that's done. So now after this, now Indus Valley topic is complete, and from here onwards there would be little correlation between what is there in the Maurya and what is there at the time of the, or what is there in the ancient and what is there in the art and culture episode. Maybe some of things you must have written at the time of the ancient, but not all the time. So now let's begin with the one of the most important topic as far as the prelims exam is concerned, Maurya art. Then so Maurya art, Maurya period art. So now I can move from this page. You have created these all. So I hope you guys must have understood. So write the major heading, Maurya art. So second topic or second major heading in this architecture in the ancient Maurya art. Now listen, in the Maurya art, what all things we are going to as in the form of art and architecture, what we are going to see here, there are some announcements outside. So there is a noise little bit over here. So the things we'll be seeing, Mauryan cave, we'll talk about the Mauryan cave. Then we will talk about that Mauryan pillar. We will talk about stupa. We will talk about sculpture, and we would talk about pottery. So these are the 5 major headings that we are going to see in the Maurya period. So Mauryan cave, Mauryan pillar, Mauryan stupa, sculpture and pottery. These are the 5 headings. But before that, very important is to know the introduction of this Mauryan period. And there are a few things which we'll have to trace from the Vedic period. So you have studied about the Vedic period, but there are few things which will be covered over here. So listen, the introduction that we are going to write, and it is one of the most often repeated question in the UPSC exam in the recent years, that from 2016 to 2020, this particular word has been asked 2 times in the prelims paper. So let's talk about this. And what is this? So I just need to talk about the Shraman movement before starting these all architectural things. Shraman movement. Listen, don't write anything. Let me complete this part. So listen, and it is not in the Maurya period which is Shraman movement. I am going back to the Vedic period then. So in the Vedic period, sir must have taught you that different kind of polity, society, economy, religious practices, and you must have written in the later Vedic period that in the rear end of the later Vedic period, the progressive section of society started to codify, started to write down those progressive ideas, and Upanishads emerged at that point of time. So moreover, that due to the complex Vedic rituals which were there at that point of time, there was this progressive section of the Indian society which started a movement, and this movement was against the Vedic practices, particularly the Vedic practices which were discriminatory in nature, and moreover it was creating more pressure on the lower section of the society. So there were some progressive people at that point of time in the Vedic age, particularly you can say that second half of the later Vedic age. So these people started this movement, and this movement came to be known as the Shraman movement, then Shraman movement or Shraman tradition. So going by this movement or this tradition, they were protesting against, or they were against some of the discriminatory practices of the Vedic period. For example, they were against the caste, they were against the Varna system, they were against the hierarchy in the society, they were against the animal sacrifice, the indiscriminate animal sacrifice which was happening, they were against the complex Vedic rituals, and they were against the dominance of the Brahmin. Brahmins. Then, so this movement is known as the Shraman movement. I will tell you the meaning of this word also, that what exactly is the meaning of this word. So this that this was the Shraman movement. Then the next thing associated with the Shraman movement, that the greatest of the exponents of the Shraman movement were Buddha and Mahavir. And it is considered, it is said that the Buddhism, Jainism, Ajivika, they are considered as the branches of the Shraman tradition or Shraman movement. So they are the branches of the Shraman tradition, Shraman movement. What is this? Progressive religious reform movement. Then, so it was a kind of an anti-Vedic movement. It was a kind of a progressive religious reform movement in the Indian society. Moreover, when you go by the meaning of this word, so Shramana or Shraman, it is a Sanskrit word, and the meaning, exact meaning of this word, that the Shramana is the one who strives for. Now the question arises that the one who strives for, this is, or in other word, the one who toils. The one who toils. Now listen, the question arises that why this Shramana movement we are quoting at the time of the Maurya. There is a reason that we would be writing in the second paragraph. Please mention. Now you can write a heading, Shraman movement or tradition. And in this heading you write Shraman movement or tradition. Please mention. Shraman is a Sanskrit word. Sometimes I behave like Atal Bihari Vajpayee. I take a little bit of time to utter the very first word. So please mention. Shraman is a Sanskrit word. Sorry. किसी ने गाली दे दी पानी पीते वक्त. Hopefully no one is from your own class. Please write. Shraman is a Sanskrit word which means, please write this one, the one who strives for, which means the one who strives for, and further write, the one who strives for, and the one who toils. In brackets you can write the one who toils. Then you keep on writing. It was a progressive religious reform movement. It was a progressive religious reform movement. Which was anti-Vedic in nature. Which was anti-Vedic in nature. Which was anti-Vedic in nature. Full stop. Then you mention. The proponents of Shraman movement, were against. The proponents of Shraman movement were against the discriminatory Vedic practices. Like, so one by one you write these all Vedic practices. Varna system and the caste which emerged from it. Varna system, caste, complex Vedic rituals, उसके बाद लिखो indiscriminate animal sacrifice, lower status of women, then Brahminical dominance, etc. So they were against these all, Brahminical dominance, etc. Brahminical dominance, etc. Then, so this is what was the Shramana. Then further you write one more line after etc. full stop and mention that it is said that Buddhism, Jainism, and Ajivika were the branches of Shaman movement. Then the next paragraph. So listen. So next paragraph, what I said to you, that how come it is connected to the Maurya period. So when it comes to the Maurya period, they were truly the one dynasty which patronized the Shramana tradition. For example, that the last topic, I think that you have not, I think that you have studied till Guptas, whatever the topic may be. But if you look at the Maurya period, you must have read about the Chandragupta Maurya. Chandragupta Maurya was a follower of Jainism. So one branch of the Shramana is followed by Chandragupta Maurya. Then the son of the Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusar, he was not a Jaina. He followed Ajivika. So Ajivika goes to Bindusar. Then Asoka, the first part of the life of the Asoka, he was Ajivika, and the second part he was Buddhist. So now you can see all the three branches of the Jainism, Shramana movement, they are patronized by the Maurya rulers. Moreover, it is at the time of the Asoka that many architectural initiatives were taken to patronize the Shramana tradition. So these architectural initiatives included cave architecture, stupa and pillars. Then, so one by one we will be talking about them. So it's because that they are the one dynasty which patronized the Shramana tradition. That's why we have mentioned Shramana over here. So please mention that after arrival of Mauryas, Shraman movement got huge impetus. Shivam, you will be learning about the Ajivika in religion and philosophy. In philosophy part, that would be the last topic that I'll be taking one. So अभी के लिए इतना ही समझो कि एक religious reform movement था. That is Ajivika. I am amazed that तुम लोगों ने पढ़ा नहीं क्या ancient में what all religions they followed, what all kind of concepts they followed in the ancient, Chandragupta Maurya and then Bindusar and then also Asoka. You must have written this point of time that when Asoka converted himself into the Buddhism, what he was following earlier, it was Ajivika. So for the time being, you just understand or दिमाग में बस इतना ही रखो, it was a kind of a religious reform movement. The further explanation would be there at the time of the religion and philosophy. When the last topic would be the Ajivika, I'll be telling you about this. So please mention. So Shraman movement got huge impetus. Then further you write, got huge impetus. Then you mention after this, क्या बात कर रहे हो, 5 क्लासेस में अभी आईवीसी खत्म हुआ है? ऐसा तो नहीं हो सकता है. I have seen, I did had that those. Chalo, you guys writing, I'll check that what all topics are completed in your ancient classes. Please mention, further you mention what you are writing. So huge impetus. Then you write during the time of the Ashoka, during the time of the Ashoka, during the time of the Ashoka, many architectural initiatives were taken. Okay. Many architectural initiatives were taken to patronize Shraman tradition. So, chalo. Okay, that's why you are not knowing. So the topic for the next class is the Mauryan Empire. That's what is written in your synopsis. So the last one that you have studied in your ancient classes, that is the Nanda dynasty. ठीक है, it's good. So you guys don't know about this one. But I will not say anything. कोई बात नहीं. I was just looking at this. Okay. I have your synopsis of your class. Yes. You are done till the Nanda dynasty, and Dhananand was also the Magad ruler at the time of the invasion of the Alexander. He could not invade Magad as his army refused to move further. Khatam. Yahi last line tha. So let's get back to what we were reading. So Magad introduced ho chuka tha. Very good. So now we are going to start with these architectural initiatives of the Ashoka, and then also not just the Ashoka, but people from the Mauryan Empire, but mostly it is Ashoka. So we are going to start with the cave architecture, Mauryan cave for the first time. Then the very first thing that we are going to see is the Mauryan cave. So let's begin. Pehla likho, very first one, Mauryan cave. And please write that, listen, that when it comes to the Mauryan cave, so perhaps they are the first example of the man-made caves in the Indian subcontinent. So Mauryan caves are the first example of the man-made cave in the Indian subcontinent. And I'm adding the word perhaps. It means that ki I'm not saying it with the conclusivity, but yes, we have not come across any other example which can be termed as the first man-made cave in India. And apart from the man-made cave, you must have come across the structures and some that in the beginning of that, when you are reading about that, those cultures of the Paleolithic, Neolithic, and then also megalithic culture. So then you must have noted down the example of the Bhimbhetka. So Bhimbhetka was not a cave man-made. It was not a man-made cave, but it was a natural cave inside which the early human beings started to create, that started to sow their entertainment activities like the paintings and those all things they started to create over there. So I hope you know that. So first man-made example is the Mauryan cave. Then, and first I will talk about the structure of the Mauryan cave. Then we will move on to the different parts of the different things associated with the Mauryan cave. So very first thing, that when you look at the structure of the Mauryan cave, so let me create one diagram of this one, that how it used to look like. So the entrance of the Mauryan cave had this kind of shape. So entrance had this kind of shape, and this type of shape is generally referred as semicircular facade. Then semicircular facade. Let me create few more lines in this one. Give me, again, I will take little bit of time in this one. And see, I could have, there is an option available to me that I will show you the image and I will not draw this, and then it will be all fine. But why this practice is necessary? Because you need to create these all diagrams in the exam. And once you are not creating it in the class, so then you are not practicing it. So you must create it in the class itself, and then you will be able to replicate this in the exam. And not all the time you need to create the perfect diagram, ठीक है? ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है, but at least some kind of representation must be there. It seems like that I have created latitudes and longitudes. So it could be a latitude or longitude. No, that will not do. So this is one such diagram. Original one also I will show you. So please create this diagram. So as I said to you that art and culture is a subject of the image and not subject to image. Yes, when you are writing the answers, so then it is subject to image, that how much marks you will get. But the very first thing is look at the images. So I'll show you the images later on, but पहले बना लो ये सब सारी चीजें. Yes, this seems like a Spider-Man's costume. But the original one don't have the Spider-Man's costume. That was my design. I have given a modern touch to this one. In fact, there are two layers in this one. And the upper level, you create. Let's give it the layers. So some different kind of sculptures were created in the lower one, and upper one was like that only. So you are done with the drawing. Now I'll show you the original image. फिर उसके बाद लिखना start करेंगे. So this image you guys are creating. Let's see that. This is the original one which I wanted to show you. So not exactly the same you have created, but this is the image which has been taken from the Bihar Museum. So you can see that this 3 layer and then there are 2 layers of this reticular panel. Jali work bolte hain. So reticular panel, and you can see the entrance over here. So these overall design, it's an intricate design and then semicircular facade. So this seems to be, this is structure, though little bit of the raised structure is here, but otherwise it is a semicircular structure. As you can see, semicircular structure. So please write that Mauryan caves were intricately decorated. Mauryan caves were intricately decorated at the entrance. And I hope you have written, perhaps they were the first man-made cave in the Indian subcontinent. Ye pehla likh lena. Then you write the description. So if you have not written, first line you will be writing, perhaps it was the first example of man-made cave in Indian subcontinent. And then you write, perhaps it was the first example of the man-made cave in Indian subcontinent. Then you write, Mauryan caves were intricately decorated from outside. Intricately decorated from outside. Then you mention, no Satish, I have not done any course. Then further you write, semicircular design with intricate sculptures were created. Semicircular design with intricate sculptures were created. With intricate sculptures were created. Full stop. Then you mention, with intricate sculptures were created. After that, there was also reticular panel. So where is this reticular panel? This I am referring to the reticular panel. So there was also reticular panel on the gateways. There was also reticular panel on the gateways. Full stop. Then you mention reticular panel on the gateways. Then write, from inside, the cave was highly polished. From inside, the cave was highly polished. From inside, the cave was highly polished. The cave was highly polished. Then you can ask a question that what was the purpose of this cave? What does it, that for whom, for what it was created? So the purpose of this cave, it's altogether very different, and that's what I mentioned in the very beginning, that Maurya rulers were the one who patronized these all kind of tradition, and this Shramana tradition included this particular, that patronization to the Jainism, Buddhism, and even Ajivika. So when it comes to the initial phase of this Mauryan caves, or overall, these caves which were created at the Maurya's time, they were meant for the shelter for the Ajivika monk. They were not meant for the shelter of the Buddhist. They were not meant for the shelter of the Jainas, but they were meant for the Ajivika monk. Moreover, that they were not only meant for the Ajivika monk who created this cave. So the people who were responsible for creating these caves, one was the Ashoka himself and another was his grandson whose name was Dasarath. Then, so majority of these caves were created by Ashoka and his grandson Dasarath. So please mention what you have written. Kya likha hai? Reticular panel inside polished. Then you write that these caves were meant for shelter for Ajivika monk. Shelter for Ajivika monk. These caves were meant for shelter for Ajivika monk. Ajivika monk. Then you write after full stop. Most of the, and this is what was the question in 2014, that what was the purpose of these caves. Then you write, most of the caves were created by Asoka and his grandson Dasarath. Asoka and his grandson Dasarath. Most of the caves were created by Asoka and his grandson Dasarath. And his grandson Dasarath. So this is what is the detail about the Mauryan cave, and we need to write examples of this Mauryan cave. So the very first one which is written and which you saw in the image itself, I'll show you the images also. So the very first one is the Lomas Rishi cave. Please mention example. Lomas Rishi cave, Barabar Hills. And where is this Barabar Hills? Gaya. So this is the first example. Then second example, you write Sudama cave, Nagarjuni Hills, and again the place is Gaya. And किधर गया? बिहार वाला गया. ठीक है? So then third example you write Dhauli cave and its elephant sculpture. Dhauli cave and its elephant sculpture, and this one is from the Bihar. So outside, oh sorry, Bihar, not Bihar, Odisha. So this is from Odisha. So outside this Dhauli cave, a beautiful elephant sculpture was created, but right now cave to khatam ho chuka hai. Only the sculpture is remaining. So please write these all examples. These two caves, Lomas Rishi and Sudama, Barabar Hills, Nagarjuni Hills, they are closer to each other, hardly 1.5 kilometer far from each other. Yes, you guys will get the images. I don't know when. See, it takes time because these images, they are that little bit heavier. So there is a process of converting it into the smaller pieces, and at the same point of time, for your batch, I have not uploaded. I have not given till this point of time to the classroom team. And once I would be sending these all images to the classroom team, definitely I'll let you know, and they will upload once I send it to them. So they will upload it within day or two. So let's look at the images. एक तो ये पहला वाला, the very first one that you have seen already, and this is the Lomas Rishi cave, as you have seen that same cave now in a different light. So in a sunlight you can see this one. Then this is the Nagarjuni cave. This is the one such end of the Nagarjuni cave and basically the Sudama cave. Okay? So as you know that when you look at the name Sudama, Sudama was the friend of the Lord Krishna. It has no relation with the Ajivika. ऐसा ही मैं बता रहा हूँ कहानी. So Sudama was the friend of the Krishna, and you know he was very poor. So that's how you can see that this cave is very plain. Then, so Nagarjuni cave. Then this is the Dhauli elephant sculpture. So Dhauli elephant sculpture, जो cave था वो तो पता नहीं कहाँ cave in हो गया. Then, but this one. So I, Neha and Satish, what I was thinking that I will complete in one go, and I'll give you that leave little bit early, 12:30, 12:35, ऐसा मैंने सोचा था. So because actually my brother is ill, so I'll have to That's why I started little early, and then I'll have to look after him. Have to buy some uh, medicines for him. So that's why I thought that I will not give a break. Chalo, I'll give you 2 minute break. Just 2 equal to Lou minute break. So it's just 2 minute break. You guys, it can be 3, but not more than that. ठीक है चलेगा? ठीक है. 2 minute break. You can. Oh, it was just 2 minutes only, not more than that. Okay, it was not a break. I knew that you wanted to fetch water or 2 minute rest from the writing. Okay, so now let's look at the next topic of the Maurya period, and that topic. So let me move to the next topic. So these examples you have written. Yeah, ek do aur images dekh lo. That this the holy elephant you have seen, and this is also the combined image. Then, so now we are going to start with this topic, that is the Mauryan pillar. Okay? So you write a heading Mauryan pillar. So please mention next topic. Mauryan pillar. Do you guys do you have second class today? I know that today is Saturday, so obviously there would be a second class, and so Mauryan pillars. Then now listen. They were the unique structures which were created by the Mauryas. And when we talk about the Mauryan pillars, there are many angles to cover in this particular topic. So first of all, that when it comes to the Mauryan pillars, so how they look like, that is very important. How they look like and how they were created, that is important. Moreover, there were the contemporaries of the Maurya, not in India, but outside India, that's particularly in the Achaemenid area, which is a part of the Persia, Central Asia. So there was one empire which was known as the Empire of the Achaemenid, and in this Achaemenian empire also pillars were created. So we will see one comparison between the Mauryan pillar and Achaemenian pillar, and then we will establish that why Mauryan pillars are far better than the Achaemenian pillar. That's one topic. Then we have to look at the purpose of this pillar, that why these pillars were created, and moreover how the purpose got changed. Then so how the purpose got changed after some point of time. So first of all, when you look at the Mauryan pillars, so Mauryan pillar is basically, it is a monolith structure. Then so it is a monolith structure. And what do you mean by monolith? Made from single stone. So it is created from single stone. Then how it look like? So that is also important to know, that how the Mauryan pillars look like. So let me create one diagram of the Mauryan pillar. So this diagram which I am creating, this diagram is of the Sarnath pillar. It's from the Sarnath image, but little bit of difference could be there at the other places. So I'll tell you that which place there would be difference. So the Sarnath, that one I am creating right now. So you can mention this part as the shaft. Then this one is known as bell capital. This is known as abacus. Abacus. This is Dharma Chakra. And this is image of Sarnath pillar, but some other pillars may differ at some places. Okay? So Dharma Chakra, and this one is the crowning animal. This is the crowning animal. So where you will find differences in the other places, for example, in Sarnath, this abacus is a kind of a circular disc, but some places it could be square also, and it could be rectangular also. So this shape may change, and moreover, some places you may not find Dharma Chakra, okay? But otherwise, rest of the things would be same. There would be a shaft, there would be a bell capital, and there would be a crowning animal. So the difference would be there only at the place of the abacus. That in abacus different designs could be there, and Ashoka Chakra may not be there. So this is one representative image of the Sarnath pillar. Then so you can mention that this is one image of the Sarnath pillar. I will define about that. I will further elaborate about that what is there in the Sarnath pillar. So please write. I hope you are writing. So these are the structures. We will be elaborating, but first of all, listen, what I was talking about the Achaemenian pillar and Mauryan pillars. Then, so the contemporary empire of the Maurya were the Achaemenians. Then, and when the Mauryan rulers were creating the pillars in India, so at the same point of time, these Central Asians and then Western Asian empire, Achaemenia, they were also constructing the pillars. So obviously, they are contemporaries, there is bound to be the comparison. So bound to be comparison, and in this comparison, let's have a look that which pillar is superior. So please write for first of all one word, that at this point of time, there was construction of pillars in Achaemenia. There was construction of pillars in Achaemenia also. In Achaemenia also. Then what you can do, that one side you create, एक side लिखो Mauryan pillar, and one side you write Achaemenian pillar. So Mauryan pillar, and another side you write Achaemenian pillar. So the very first comparison, Mauryan pillar were monolith, meaning that they were created from the single stone in one go. एक ही बार में ऊपर से नीचे तक बना दिया, in one go. So they were created from the single stone and in one go. On the other hand, Achaemenian pillars were not a monolith. They were created in the pieces and joined together. So please write that Mauryan pillars were monolith. Mauryan pillars were monolith, created in one go. एक ही बार में पूरा बना दिया. Then in Achaemenian you write, it wasn't a monolith. It wasn't a monolith, and created in pieces. Created in pieces. So it wasn't a monolith and was created in pieces. So obviously, which would be better? In this, it has more marks. Then after the first instance, let's have a discussion on the height of the Mauryan pillars and then this pillar. So when you look at the height of the Mauryan pillar, the average height was the 40 feet. Then, so average height was the 40 feet. It means that 40 feet means that average Indian height is 5'8". So near about 7 persons, you kind of that one upon another 7 persons in the upward direction. So that would be the average height, I'm saying. meaning that maximum could be 60 also. So average height is the 40 feet, but maximum could be 60 also. On the other hand, the Ecumenian pillars, they were just 20 to 25 feet in height. Then, so 20 to 25 feet in height, not more than that. So please mention average height of Mauryan pillar was 40 feet. Average height of Mauryan pillar was 40 feet, and here 20 to 25 feet. 20 to 25 feet. Then, now, the next comparison is that in the Mauryan pillar, so that they were always created in open. They were always erected in the open. Open ground में इसको लगाया जाता था. So they were always erected in the open ground, open space. But the Ecumenian pillars, they were used inside the buildings. Then, so here you write in the, so always erected in the open. Always erected in the open, and this side you write used inside the closed structures. Used inside the closed structures. Used inside the closed structure. And moreover, so in the Mauryan pillar, you have seen that यहाँ पे मैंने कुछ नहीं बनाया है. Straight pillar is rising from the ground. In Ecumenian, what they were doing, that at this place there used to be concrete reinforcement. Then, so concrete reinforcement in the Ecumenian pillars, but that's not the case in the Mauryan pillar. So concrete reinforcement may be the purpose to provide more support to the pillar at the base. Then, so to provide more support to the pillar at the base, which means that Mauryans believed that their pillar is so strong that they don't need concrete reinforcement at the base, and at the same point of time it looks little ugly when you do a concrete reinforcement at the base. So you write that in the Ecumenian, first you write, इसमें लिखो Ecumenian में there was concrete enforcement at the base of pillar. In Ecumenian, concrete enforcement at the base of pillar, and here you can write एक ही word में लिख लो, no such thing. No such thing. No such thing. Then, when it comes to the craftsmanship, and when it comes to the not craftsman, but here is a word that skill, artisan skill. Then, so when it comes to the artisan skill, Mauryan pillars were quite advanced as compared to the Ecumenian pillars. The only thing which Mauryan pillar and Ecumenian pillar similar, that is the polishing of both the pillars were quite okay. Then, so you write that the artisan skill, or you can write craftsman skill. The craftsman skill of Mauryan pillar was quite high. And here mediocre level of craft skill. Mediocre level of craft skill. Mediocre, I hope you know what is this word, that closer to average and little better than the average. Then, so that what you call mediocre. And then the next one, the last one. Both were highly polished. So you can write it as a common. Both were highly polished. Both were highly polished. So in this way, you have written about the features of the Mauryan pillars, and at the same point of time, we have also done the comparison. Then, so we have also done the comparison and we have written the features also. Okay. So abhi kya karte? We are just moving into the purpose of the pillars, and then I will quote examples. Okay? And then we will see the images. So let's have a look at the purpose of the pillar. So please mention. After this, I hope you must have understood these all things which is mentioned. Ek minute. Please mention purpose of the Mauryan pillars. Now, when it comes to the purpose of the Mauryan pillars, it has two phases. It has two phases, the very first phase and second phase, and how we write this. The phase one we call before Kalinga war, and second we say after Kalinga war. So what is before Kalinga war? Listen, that before Kalinga war, and this is one episode that you will be reading in the ancient history, and I hope that next class, whenever that is there, the Mauryan Empire you are going to study, so definitely you will be studying about the Kalinga war. So this is one of the bloodiest war in the ancient India, and it is said that in this war more than lakhs of the people died in this war. And before this war, Asoka has a different kind of perspective regarding the territorial expansion. But seeing the bloodshed which happened in the Kalinga war, and seeing that river, Daya river, which and actually this Kalinga war happened at the site of Dhauli, the one which we have written in the cave example. So it happened at the site of Dhauli and on the banks of river Daya. So what happened that when the war was over, Asoka was at that place, and he saw that river was completely blood red in color, and out of surprise he asked his people that why this river is red. He was looking at the dead bodies, but he was not moved by the dead bodies. But then he asked that why this river is red. So then people said that it is the blood of the people who have died which has made this river red. And that was the moment that a remorse set in the heart of the Asoka. He started to feel guilty. He started to feel that he has done a sin, and all those kind of feelings got inside the Asoka. And then he decided that he will no more be going for the military expansion. He will not fight a bloody war. And then that's what's the moment that he has gone to accept Buddhism and change his policy perspective. So please write few words about this one. So a few words nahi, pehle sun lo. So so before Kalinga war, there was altogether different perspective, and this altogether different perspective was that first purpose of the pillar, it is to celebrate the victory. Wherever Asoka has been victorious, Mauryan rulers has been victorious, they celebrate the victory by erecting a pillar. Then, moreover, there is one more purpose. This victory, not only it is celebrated, but also this pillar is a mark of imperial ceremony, imperial command, or imperial orders. For example, let's suppose that in whichever area you are, and it was a not Asoka territory, Asoka won that area of yours, and then he kind of installed that pillar in your place. So that marks that he is the new king of your area. Moreover, the imperial commands are served with this pillar. Pillars were kept very high so that people from very far, they can see that there is a pillar, and looking at the pillar, they must be knowing that there is some instruction. So they are coming to the pillar, and then they will get the instruction. What is this instruction? This instruction could be anything. It could be regarding the taxes. It could be regarding the behavior, that how you need to operate in the regime of the Asoka, what kind of taxes you would be paying, what would be the rate of the taxes then, and what kind of religion you can follow, what kind of religion you cannot follow. So all those kind of orders, they were served with the pillars. Then, so that was the purpose of the pillar in the beginning phase then, and before the Kalinga war. Then what I said to you, that then this Kalinga war happened, lakhs of people died, and then Asoka was moved. So he changed his policy from the Bheri Ghosh to Dhamma Ghosh. Then These are the keywords which I'm using right now. What is this Bheri Ghosh? Bheri Ghosh is the policy of the military annexation. And then he changed his policy to the Dhamma Ghosh. Dhamma Ghosh is the socio-cultural annexation, basically the propagation of the doctrines of the Buddhism, Dhamma. So going by the tenets of the Dhamma, the purpose of the pillar altogether changed. So what is the first purpose of the pillar? The first purpose of the pillar after the Kalinga War would be propagation of Buddhism, propagation of the doctrine of the Buddhism, then celebrating the life of the Buddha and celebrating the life of the Buddha, and then the spread of the Dhamma among the people. So this is what was the purpose after the Kalinga War. There was a change of heart in Asoka, and that's how that after the Kalinga War it got changed. So please mention that purpose of Mauryan pillar A before Kalinga War. Before Kalinga War. And in this you mention? Yes, very good. War of words to war of drums. Then, so, first you write in this, to celebrate victory. To celebrate victory. And second, in this you write, to serve imperial ceremonies and commands. Ceremonies and commands. To serve imperial ceremonies and commands. Done. Then after B you write, ये हो गया, और B would be the after Kalinga War. Please write one thing in the brackets, that Asoka abandoned the policy of Bheri Ghosh. Abandoned the policy of Bheri Ghosh, and in brackets, again bracket में bracket, military annexation. Military annexation. So Asoka, after Kalinga War, Asoka abandoned the policy of Bheri Ghosh and accepted Dhamma Ghosh. Accepted Dhamma Ghosh, and you can write socio-cultural annexation. Socio-cultural annexation. See, one thing what is coming to my mind, that when you get one such question in the international relations, and that's very important at this point of time, as you must be seeing those discussions which are going on the TV, so that those news bulletins and then all news media, print or digital media. What is that? That in India right now many states are complaining that there is a dearth of the vaccines then, and they are just saying that the government has already sent it to the many countries. Government has given free gift to the many countries, so they are just complaining that they must have saved it for ourselves, then look outwards, and then do this kind of generous work. But you know what the government was doing? This is what we call soft power. This is what we call soft power in the international relations. There is a hard power. When you have militarily, you are very strong, which is US and China. Militarily, they were very strong. But one area where US has both the powers, that is the soft power and the hard power. So China has only hard power. It is hard. It is very only in the last 10 years that China has started working towards the soft power. Can you see? The first example of such thing from the history could be this. What is this? This is the hard power, Bheri Ghosh, the Chakravarti Samrat of India, Ashoka. hard power. He could win anything, but then he realized that he could win any area, but you cannot win the heart of the people. And when you want to the people must worship you, the people must remember you in a good faith, so then you will have to have soft power. And what is this Dhammagosha? This was the soft power of the Ashoka. So this could be the first example of the soft power. This you can quote, not quote, at international relation questions. And right now it has become very relevant. India is more known for the soft power, and that's what government was doing. It's not just about the vaccines, that these all kind of questions will arise time and again whenever any kind of government would be there. But I was just giving you example of the soft power and how you can historically relate it to the Ashoka. So you can say that perhaps he was the first person who realized the importance of the soft power by abandoning the hard power. I hope you got that. So please mention. So accepted Dhammagosha, and then you write one by one these all. So mention to celebrate important life events of Buddha. To celebrate important life events of Buddha. Very first one. Then second, you can mention to propagate Dhamma. To propagate Dhamma. And what is this? So Dhamma is the moral, ethical code of conduct. Moral, ethical code of conduct. So this is all about the Mauryan pillars. Then, so I hope you understood this part, and let's see the examples. We will be writing the examples, so let's look at the examples, and I'll show you the examples with the images itself. So साथ में लिख लेना. So I must move to the next page. So as you can see that Mauryan pillar, there is no reinforcement at the base, as you can see, and that is going straight. This is the bell capital area. This is the abacus, but at this place you can see that abacus is square. यहाँ पे square है, but Sarnath में क्या था? It was a circular disc. Then, so here abacus is a square. Then next image. So this is the Sarnath pillar. Then, and this is the Sarnath pillar. And what you need to remember in these all examples, that what UPSC asked to you, the crowning animal. So the crowning animal in the Sarnath pillar is the 4 back-to-back lion. Then, so 4 back-to-back lions are the crowning animals in the Sarnath pillar. Sarnath is in UP, I hope you know. And then you can mention crowning animal, CA, 4 lions. And then there is this Ashok Chakra. So in Sarnath pillar, you have Ashok Chakra. Then see, don't give me the data regarding that how much finances and this all. Yes, China has started taking many strides in this one, but this is not the example. You know that giving finances, agar jo main tumhe paisa दूं, it is just like that I'm giving you 1 lakh rupees, and after giving you 1 lakh rupees, I keep abusing you. Is it a soft power? Don't you know that I am abusing you then? So this is what is the example of the China. Everybody knows in their heart that कमीना देश है, ठीक है? This is what I will say, that कमीना देश है, and then पैसे तो ले लेगा, and that's what is there in the Pakistan. When they give money to the Pakistan, they say, you see that if you go to China, you ask for that what is their view about the Pakistan, so they will say, the Chinese citizens will say, it's a bigger country. Then it's a bigger country. So do you have the pride enough to take the money from that particular country? Some of the people may sell their soul then, but not everyone. So that soft power और ये जो reports आती है ना, global reports and these all kind of reports, to hell with these all reports. You know it in your heart then that who is good, who is really soft power. So let's don't send these all kind of things in the responses screen. Otherwise, you know that class is diverted, and I will be talking about those subjects. So let's focus on the art and culture only. So you can see that 4 back-to-back lines are there in this one. There is a circular disc, and then these 4 dharma chakras are also there. In these 4 dharma chakra, in between, you have 4 animals. Then, so these 4 animals between dharma chakra, they are bull, horse, elephant, and lion. Please write in this you mention. So, लिखो इसमें that in the Sarnath pillar, 4 animals in Sarnath pillar, 4 animals are represented in between dharma chakra. 4 animals are represented in between dharma chakra, that is bull, horse, elephant, and lion. And the formula for remembering this one is BHEL, Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited. So this is in clockwise direction, that how these are created. So here you can see bull, there would be horse, then there would be elephant, and there would be a lion. So the BHEL. So this is the formula to remember. Then Sarnath pillar, it is the one pillar which is after Buddha achieved, that after Asoka has that accepted Buddhism. Okay? So uske baad ka hai. So this pillar is after Kalinga War. This is the example of the after Kalinga War. So this you have written. Let's look at the next example. Ek aur likh lo, one more you write that this much part is the national emblem of India. So the upper part of, you write the upper part of Sarnath pillar, is national emblem of India. Bharat Sarkar ka national emblem hai. When you will become IAS officer, so then you will have your visiting cards, and on that this emblem would be there. And that will give you a little bit of smile on your face. So, Bharat Sarkar ke Rajasik Adhikari, Rishabh Mishra, Jaydev Pathak, Tushar Goyal, Baki tum sabhi. So, then the next example, this one. So, this is the Rampurwa capital. Then, so Rampurwa pillar, and this is from Bihar. Now, you can see that this image right now, it is in the Rashtrapati Bhavan. This image is taken from the Rashtrapati Bhavan, but originally this capital was from the Rampurwa of Bihar, and इसमें क्या लिखोगे? Crowning animal is a single bull. अकेला है बेचारा. और वो भी the horn of the bull somebody has broken. Then, so वो भी राष्ट्रपति भवन से. Then, so Rampurwa pillar, this is from Bihar, and crowning animal is the bull. Single bull मत लिखना, ठीक नहीं लगता है, ठीक है? Bull अपने आप में ही बहुत strong होता है. Then this pillar you write Lauria Nandangarh pillar. This is also from Bihar, and crowning animal only it will change. So again you cannot, single lion is enough. So you just write crowning animal is lion. Then, so Lauria Nandangarh pillar of Bihar. Then, I hope you have written. Then the next example. Sankisa pillar, it is from UP. So Sankisa pillar, it is from UP. There is a place called Farrukhabad. So it's situated in the Farrukhabad, and here you can see that crowning animal is elephant. So crowning animal is elephant. But these all, Rampurwa, Lauria Nandangarh and elephant sculpture image, they are before the Kalinga War. ये पहले के image है. Sarnath is after the Kalinga War. So Sarnath is after the Kalinga War. So these all are the pillar images that we needed to see at this point of time. Sankisa pillar. Then, so I hope you need some time to write this one. So this is all about the pillar sculpture and pillar at this point of time. So now we are left with the stupa, sculpture, and then pottery. That I will start. I don't know tomorrow we have class or not. So if we have class tomorrow, so then we'll start with these topics, and moreover after completing these topics I will be starting the post-Mauryan age or post-Mauryan art. So I'm winding up class here now and meet you in next class with the remaining topics of the Maurya, and then we will start post-Maurya also. Okay? So till then, thank you and bye bye. And one more thing, the next class would be much more important then, and it is the one class where I seek your attention, particularly on the digital board. There is so much to learn. Please don't miss the next class, which is the class on the stupa. There are so many concepts involved over there. If you are not there in the class, so then it will be difficult. Okay? Chalo, thank you. Resources in the 4th class. I will tell you about the resources in the 4th class. 3rd class मान लो, 3rd class only.